Hello and welcome to the Made in New York Animation Project Incentivized Industry Access event. Let people sign in for a little bit. My name is Kristen Eckstein and I'm an art therapist here at TAP, and we're so happy to have you all here.
Hello, everybody. I'm Hoda, and I'm an animator here at TAB, and we will co-facilitating today's industry access event.
I'm so excited to meet today's guest speaker, but before we do, we should review some Zoom webinar information. Here's some information about our Zoom webinar. This group will operate in a webinar format. Attendees will not be able to turn on their video or microphone during the webinar events. You were counted in attendance as soon as you logged in. You do not need to follow up with us regarding attendance. If you lose connection at any time, try to rejoin the webinar as soon as possible, and you will still receive your incentive even if you get disconnected from the webinar.
Thank you so much for going over the information, Kristen. Let's start.
As we do in every industry access event, let's review our goals for the day. And today's goals are our opening ritual, going over our TAP creed, meeting with our guest speaker, Catherine Quintiel from Giphy Arts, having an awesome Q&A where she will answer your questions, and then we'll have a closing ritual.
I'm so excited about this group today. So what's our opening ritual for today?
So in every TAP group, we engage in an opening ritual to help us check in with ourselves as we enter into the space together. And because we have a friend of ours from Giphy Arts, we thought it would be fun to play with gifts, to use gifts in our opening ritual. So I want you to take a moment to go on giphyarts.com and find a gift that makes you smile. And later today, maybe you can share that gift with a friend.
It's such a fantastic start.
I know, and they have so many fun gifts to choose from. I'm actually going to put in a chat that a gift I found earlier today that just made my day for people to see and enjoy. Hoda, do you have a gift that makes you smile this morning or afternoon?
Yes, I have so many of them, but I was just going through the web and see which one is the most funny. Okay,
I went for cute kind of happy smile. I love that you're going for humor.
Oh my God, I'm gonna share it in the chat.
Oh, thank you, Catherine, for also sharing a gift that makes you smile. I'm going to take a quick moment to look and see what these are. Hoda, definitely very funny.
I am, yeah. Oh my God, I'm excited. Oh, this is very funny too. It's kind of like a comic. Yeah. Also animation. It's very beautiful.
Absolutely. Thank you, Catherine, for sharing this gift. I hope everybody can see the gifts that we just quickly put in the chat. And like I said, I hope you enjoy browsing the thousands of options that are out there to find a gift that makes you smile today. Thank you, everyone, for participating in our opening ritual.
Thank you, everybody. Shall we open our creed and just review it? Let's do it.
That sounds great. So this is our TAP creed. These are our a set of principles and values that we hold to the highest point for all of our groups to help our groups stay safe and productive and fun. And so we're going to read this together in this space to uphold all of these important principles that we follow in each and every group. Hoda, do you want to start out by reading number 1?
Sure. Number 1, we show respect. We are a team of individuals from different backgrounds and experiences with a shared interest in learning. We live up to the same expectations as we would in person. We mute ourselves when we are not speaking in order for all voices to be clearly heard.
Number 2, we take care of our technology. We utilize our technology with care and professionalism in order to support the learning experiences of all who attend.
Number 3, we focus. We have a lot to learn. All our attention is focused on the group. We do our best to limit distractions around us. We wear headphones if possible.
Number 4, we participate. We are engaged in the group. We abide by the creed when asking questions and sharing our creative work.
Number 5, we own the content. This is our group. This is our opportunity to learn more about the animation industry and express ourselves creatively.
And number 6, we attend group. Our voices and ideas are valued. We attend each group we are registered for. We log into the group on time and stay until the end. Our Zoom names match our registration names. And now, the reason we are all here, we are excited to welcome today's guest speaker, Catherine Quintiel.
Hey everyone, thank you for joining today. I was thinking about treating this more so like a round table. So if anyone wants to like go unmiked and just ask me any kind of questions they have about like their own portfolio, experiences, how to get certain job things, just to like make sure this is about you guys as much as possible. And if anything, towards the end, if you guys want to talk about Giphy Arts more specifically, but just to talk more about what you guys want in your careers in animation as a whole. So, yeah.
That is such a great idea, Catherine. I do want to say that because this is a webinar format, our guests and our attendees are not able to actually come on mic, but they are asking questions in the Q&A feature. So I actually see, I just opened the Q&As and I see some people even sent links to some gifts that made them smile, which are fantastic. And that is a great way for them to be able to communicate with you and with all of us, like you said, in this roundtable format.
Okay.
Because I love that idea of making it all about our attendees and those who are here in this space with us today.
Yeah.
Ellen is actually sharing some of the links that came through on the Q&A for the like from the opening ritual.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jalen shared a nice Homer Simpson gif saying "Wahoo!"
I love the one that Joseph sent.
Yeah, using gifs to just like communicate has been such a fun experience the past few weeks, ever since we worked with Giphy Arts in our boot camp.
Yeah.
Really, really into gifs and just like appreciate them so much more nowadays.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Oh, here's one. From Caitlin Ho. Do you know any internships in the animation or art industry that will accept students with zero experience? I hope to find an internship experience like that so I can learn from the professionals. Okay, cool. Great question. So it depends on where you are in your stage, right? So if you're in high school, for example, applying to college, I think this is a great opportunity to do museum programs. So in New York City, for example, I remember when I was in high school at the Jewish Museum, they had a video production summer program completely free for New York City residents, for example. Or like at the Met, for example, they have every Saturday free art classes, for example. So if you're in high school and you're considering going to like a college art program or just a general liberal arts school and do art schools, if you're in high school doing any sort of free programming in New York City, there is a lot. every museum has at least some sort of free program every week or during the summer, sort of boot camp for free. It's this place called the City Parks Foundation. For example, I actually interned with them when I was in high school, and they do free program during the summer for everyone. You can even intern with them as well too as a high school student. So if you're in New York City and you're in high school, there are tons of free opportunities for you to gain just at least a basic experience in the art world, right? I actually did the International Center of Photography, for example, ICP. It's like on 42nd Street by Bryant Park. And I did darkroom photography there for like 4 years, then did the image makers program, and then I interned with them right the summer before college. So again, just look at all the museums in New York City and literally just look up, and don't be afraid to go in person and ask and call. That's what I did when I was in high school. And then when it comes to college, if you're in college, I'll say this, you don't have to be in an art program. Like you don't have to go to a SCAD or a Cal Arts or a SVA if you don't want to. It's if you are very passionate about animation, you want to be in animation, obviously try to apply for those schools. But like, for example, there are so many like state schools or like just general private schools that have really great art programs. For undergrad, I went to Western University in Connecticut, and they have a really, really prominent film program. And if you wanted to do animation, they have the money and the resources for you to explore that creativity. In between summers, when you want to get internships with zero experience, it's going to be tough. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, and I'm not going to make you feel good. It's tough. Honestly, I didn't get anything worthwhile most of college. I just got what I got, to be transparent. And I think if it's possible, like obviously apply for, like, if you want to do work in animation, have an internship. The typical traditional ones are like DreamWorks, Walt Disney, like Nickelodeon. Like these are like the typical traditional places that offer internships specifically for people who don't have any experience, who are looking to get an animation. And if you're lucky, which I highly recommend to really strive for those, because there are a lot of people. There's this program called Rise Up Animation, where they do weekly panels with industry professionals, and literally 9 out of 10, all of them, they worked internally. They were an intern and they've been working at Disney or Nickelodeon for 10 plus years. But that's honestly very few people compared to the bigger, larger picture at hand. So there's that. And then the second option, which I honestly preferred, and I think it's even better because you get more experience, it is not as structural, is looking at animation studios or collectives, right? So just in terms of just industry as a whole, there are these major studios like Disney or Netflix or tech companies that do all of the money and they do all of the big stands. Depending on the production and the level of it, they'll hire a production or like an animation studio outside of the company to do the TV show or whatever, or commercial spot. So it's a matter of looking up, literally just going on Google or talking to people, going to industry events, and they're very like, only certain people know these like kind of like Cartoona, for example. There's Snyder, for example. Like there are these very small, like if you know kind of studios and agencies that if you reach out, because they're so small, you'll most likely get in. Or like if you like for more like a film perspective, like A24 is an example. I'm not sure if you heard of like movies like Moonlight or Uncut Gems. Like these are very small, like less than 50 people agencies or studios that hire people quickly, and they need talent or they need an intern to help on set. I hope that makes sense. I gave like different perspective in different ages, and also just for zero experience, there's additional internships you can get outside of college, where I'll wrap up. They have apprenticeships. So like places, of course, like Nickelodeon, Disney, they have like these specific moments or places on DreamWorks where they train you for a year knowing that you don't have any experience. I hope that answers your question and gives them enough resources to like get it going. Of course, even if you don't have an internship, you should still be drawing. You should still be working on your craft. Just because you are not getting a great check, you need to be visually strong. And just because you didn't get an internship it doesn't mean you should put down the pen. Keep drawing, keep doing your craft, and sooner enough you'll realize you don't even need those studios. So that's what I would say.
So much for that. There were so many great resources, and hope you all can see that Ellen was posting a few of the links of the opportunities you mentioned in the chat for anyone who wants to follow up directly.
Yeah. I mean, I just want to make this, I get it. It's tough out here. But one thing I do want to debunk is the myth that you won't make any money in the whole starving artist. That is not true. I know a lot of professional artists who just draw all day or sculpt all day, and they make a very, very nice life for themselves. So let's debunk that immediately. I see another question from Jennifer Hernandez. How was the hiring process when you're trying to get find a job in animation? So for context, I do not work in animation. I do, but I don't. I work at a tech company called Giphy, and we are primarily focused on content on the internet and how that gets transferred across other platforms. So I work for a tech company. Now, my role at Giphy is partnerships. So I'm in the business marketing space. I started in tech right out of college. I first started working at a marketing team at another tech company in California for some time. I did sales for some time, and now I just ended up in partnerships. In the realm of just marketing, advertisement, sales, and those kind of things is where I come from. I have a degree in sociology. I took some film classes here and there. In terms of just what I love to do, I love watching anime. I love cartoons and graphic novels. And I was just figuring out a way to live my life where I can combine all of these things without the pressure of what it is to be an animator. Because animators are no joke. That's a very serious job. And I kind of want to have fun. So that's just for me. So for me, it was literally, again, out of college, I knew I wanted to be in tech. I did work in production while I was in college. I have worked on like networks like A&E, AMC. I worked for VH1. I've done a lot of PA jobs. And from my personal experience, I absolutely hated it. I hate working on set. I hate working in production. I did not like the experience, but that's just me. That's just me. In my personal opinion, please don't let that deter you if you want to try it out. I worked in lots of productions with lots of kinds of people, and it just wasn't my cup of tea. So that's how I knew I did not want to be if I were to work in animation, let's say, it wouldn't be with like a DreamWorks. That's just how I operate. So I just want to make that clear. And the way I'm connected to animation is because I partner with people who specifically do animation. So I am working in animation, but literally my day job is just hiring artists to create content, and I'm looking at storyboards and I'm giving some art direction through a tech company. And I think I got the job purely just applying and getting interviewed. I had to take a test, and boom. Like, I think I've been lucky enough where I just literally there was a moment where I didn't have a job, and I would literally apply to jobs every day, 24/7. At one point I was unemployed, and I applied for over 400 jobs, and just boom, 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 and just constantly like being obsessive. And I think it's just a matter of situation and what you need to do to get where you need to be. I think in terms of getting hired for an animation job, the most important thing to take away is to keep an open mind. I think we often see the front picture and we think like, oh, I like to draw, I like characters, I'll do this. Animation is a very massive division of labor. For one movie, like in Disney, there's over 500 people working on something very specific and niche. So if you're like young or like in the beginning of your career, be well-rounded as possible. Like if you're really passionate about character design, it's all you want to do, then do that too. Do not be happy, you know what I mean? But like, if you're in the beginning and you still don't know, but you know you really want to be in animation, be well-rounded. Because if you like storyboarding, character design, background designs, or when we specifically work in motion design, like there's so many niche specific things. And if you're working at a studio or agency or you're freelancing, depending on what you're doing, you need to know a little bit of everything, because you might be a storyboarder one day, but let's say the character designer is out tomorrow, but you have that skill, you can come in and get an extra paycheck. You know what I'm saying? It's a matter of just, if you're going to be hired, the hiring process for me, coming from business, is just a typical interview. They'll give me like a brand test and I get hired or I don't. I think in between that, again, while I was waiting if I would get the job or not, I was taking coding classes. I was taking, I took an animation class for fun at RISD where they offered me a scholarship. Like, you should be honing your craft in between these interviews, in between these sessions. And then also, like, don't be afraid to reach out or ask or email. That's one thing I've learned kind of the hard way. Like, I would be shy. I don't want to be, obviously don't be annoying and like irritating, but like, if you see a studio and they're not hiring right now, but you really love their work, keep in contact, reach out to someone you know on Instagram, DM them, let them know that, hey, I would love to get to know you and just learn about you more. Like, there's obviously a way to navigate that, but I hope that answers your question about hiring process and animation. Again, your portfolio is everything. Show range, show skill. If you can, get people who you value feedback on your portfolio, and always show not only just your best work, but the process of your work, especially in the beginning. Like, they need to know how you work. Like, can you draw fast? Are you too slow? Are you able to translate your skills from Adobe to Figma? Like, knowing those things is going to make or break the difference. That was kind of long-winded.
No, it was fantastic. And a very recent question came in from Giselle saying, I didn't hear you say this, but what is the name of your job? I'm very interested. So could you just remind the group, who you're visiting us from today, what you do at Giphy, just like another brief introduction for those who may have
totally. Yeah, my name is Catherine Quintiel. I am born and raised based in New York City, and I work for this called Giphy, Giphy, not Jiffy, Giphy. Make that very clear. And it's called under Giphy, I work for Giphy Arts, which is like a subcategory of Giphy that specifically focuses on artists, on professional artists, and ways we can develop a paying ecosystem. And my role in particular is artist partnerships manager. So I am managing the partners. So our partners are the artists. So if you have, good work, we want to put you on a directory, or we see growth in you, we would put you on board, and you'll be on this large directory where you are connected to various partners. Like us, sometimes we hire people on a monthly basis, or like, let's say Coca-Cola wants to hire you, likes your work, to look at your portfolio because they're a directory and hire you directly. So I am a partnerships manager specifically for artists at Giphy, and our hub, or like our cool like club, is called Giphy Arts. Hope that's clear. So yeah.
Thanks so much for that. We do have a lot of other questions that are coming in.
Yeah, sorry.
I was just going to read Nicholas's question out loud. But Nicholas asked, from your own experience, how do you make your portfolio different or stand out from everyone else?
Honestly, this is going to sound very corny, and you're probably going to hate this answer, but it's the most truest thing. Two things. Be yourself. Like, I think really having a specific style that you are excellent at or like extraordinary at can determine that. And I think if you notice, like, people come into Disney, Nickelodeon, DreamWorks, or a tech company or agency, they have something that oh, that's your work. That's who you are. But you also have the skill to adapt and expand. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think if you notice every single artist who's pretty successful and does really well for themselves, they have a very distinct style. That's exactly who they are. And often when I hire an artist to do a commission, it's because I like the way they handle the material, and because it's the way they can do it. I don't see anyone else doing it. Of course, I'm sure if anyone's ever taken like a painting class or a drawing class, the first thing you learn is how to imitate art. So you can just get that skill going. But after that, you should have a very specific style art that's specific to you. And often that translates based on your own identity, you being authentically who you are, you being confident in who you are. It can be cringy, and that's gonna happen. So I say just really hone on your style more than anything else and what you like to do, because end of the day, when people look at your portfolio, they're gonna see how fun you're having doing the work. And I'm like, oh, in my head, if this looks fun it must be fun to work with you. You get what I'm trying to say? Like, they want to feel your energy within the portfolio, because that's going to reflect how we're going to work together. If you're being rigid and you're obviously copying, you're obviously doing something that's not, it just doesn't feel as dynamic as I want it to be, I'm not going to hire you. The second thing I would mention that's honestly very stressful on my job is make yourself accessible. Like, there are a lot of artists that are phenomenal, but they just have no email available. And I get like social media is a great thing, but I'm not going to DM you. I work in corporate, like DreamWorks and Disney and Netflix, they're still a corporate building. So they're not going to DM you. There's so many things that are just unprofessional with that. And I get it because it's accessible, it's cool, and it's trendy. And unless you want a particular audience, but if you want like something like that, like, please just put an email out there, make your portfolios accessible. Please check on your links. There's so many people, because they didn't pay their bill or the website platform got like bankrupt or something, their links are not working. Like, just make your portfolio and your email as visible. Like, if you're gonna have an Instagram, put your email in your bio, and your link should be working. If it's not a link, that's fine. If it's your IG, the IG should just be art then. It shouldn't be a couple selfies. And like, if you want this to this professional, like, I need something where I can present it to a CMO. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
That was great. We actually did talk about this and portfolios at our career pathways, and I am so happy that I'm hearing some of the pointers that we made already, like you were saying them, and it's like very reassuring and wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Oh, yeah, of course. And it's like, for example, there's a question that says, what if you only have a 2-year animation degree? Honestly, to be very transparent, school doesn't matter. School does not matter. I know a lot of people who never went to school, never touched it. Like, ultimately, even if you don't go to even animation school, it sounds really bad to say, go to college if you have the opportunity to go to college. I'm not saying don't go to college, but is it worth it? No, not really. No one cares. No one cares. Even the moment I left college, no one has ever asked me about my degree. And even if I think, again, if you have a 2-year animation degree, I don't care about your degree. I don't care anything. What does your portfolio look like? What does your work look like? I think if you are in school and you were in that 2-year animation degree program, the most important thing in any school or even like being at TAP is your resources. How much resources did you actually use? And I'm not talking about like money or whatever, or programming. I'm talking about people. Were you social? Did you connect with someone you didn't expect to connect with? And I'll be transparent, from when I was an undergrad, like, I didn't take advantage of that. I feel like I do not do it again. I'm glad I'm out of school. But if I were to do it again, unfortunately, I would be more social. I wouldn't be so like close-minded. I would talk to more people and just see what comes up of that conversation, because you never know. So I wouldn't worry about your degree, with the title or what you've gotten. What did your portfolio look like? And did you squeeze as much as resources as you possibly did from that program? Did you meet people? Did you go out? Did you go to conferences? Did you use grants from your program? That's what's most important. So, yeah.
Definitely, I second that. And yeah, a school is about links. Yeah, you can learn art everywhere. Most of the time, like, going to school is about meeting people, or just like forming a group of people that you can work with. Like, I could not emphasize more in that.
Yeah, and I think honestly, my favorite thing has been, especially with social media and everything happening, my favorite thing to watch is people come together and creating their own studios and their own collective, and they're like 10 times bigger, and they're the people that DreamWorks is hiring or buying or whatever. Like, even though it's like been a while since she said this, but Issa Rae always said, don't work up, work around you. And I think she's a perfect example of that. So if there's a few people at TAP who you love talking to in a group chat, why not make a studio right now and start, pitching to brands, that pitch to I don't know, some sort of like company and be like, hey, we have these sketches, we'd love to make a character for your company or something. Like, really work around you, because in the long run, like if you meet people who you see are successful, like you'll find out they're all connected. They all went to the same school, went to the same program, or they know each other because they were working together up. That is going to determine your success, and it's going to be even more rewarding because it's the people you love to be with. So,
I love that, especially since so many people do meet and connect here at TAP. And yeah, keep these connections, keep these networks alive, and use each other, work together.
Yeah, I see a comment from Jennifer, and I'll say the other question, but she's saying, okay, thank you, this is really helpful, because they're worried that they have to be good and focus on one thing. I mean, you have to be good at art. Like, I'm not gonna say don't be good. Like, and I say good art, in my personal opinion, art is debatable, and but you need to have references. I think good art comes with references, meaning obviously be focused and good and skilled in art, but there's so many people who would do art and it's like, it's okay. Obviously they're still younger, need a lot of work. But if you see the level of art alone on Giphy Arts, for example, the directory of quality we have, and that's all because these people are literally breathing and eating their work. And they're been like, in a way that's not necessarily obsessive, but they're just having fun. They're exploring. There's some very strange things I've come across in my job at Giphy, and it's all good and fun, and it's creative and it's experimental. Like the way you play with material with painting or like sculpting, it's the same thing you do digitally. Play with different brushes, play with the different kind of canvases, different backgrounds, different styles. Like, don't be afraid to get out of the box. And then the next question was about trying to socialize in the industry. Do you interact with a lot of coworkers, and how you describe your environment? Again, I'm lucky. I'll speak specifically for Giphy. I love what I'm doing. For me, I have a career. I think I can actually came to realize this like in the beginning, like recently, like a week ago. Like, there's a big difference between a job and a career. I have a career in tech that focuses on business and creativity. And I happen to do animation in the middle of that, which is everything that I've been looking for. Now, for me, what I've learned, especially with the pandemic, don't get too attached, meaning don't get too comfortable. So if I'm feeling in a position where I'm too comfortable, I'm not learning anything, I don't feel like I can grow anymore, I'm leaving. And that goes for every single role I enter, because I'm in it for my career. Now, I've been there before. Like, if you got to pay a bill, you got to pay a bill. Don't ever feel shame. I've done it before where like a while ago, there was a situation where I didn't have a job. I needed to pay my rent. There was do or die. So I ended up being a hostess for like a few weeks and like washing dishes for like a restaurant. Like, if you got to do what you got to do, never in your life feel shame. A bill needs to be paid some way or another, especially if you don't come from a certain background where it's not handed to you. So I want to make that very clear, never feel shame. And I think there's that reality of life. And then there's a second thing where you have to bet on yourself. You have to trust that you're going to get exactly what's meant for you. Trust me, I know exactly what it feels to be rejected. I know exactly what it feels to be in a 9-round interview process and still get rejected. All to say, like, when it comes to social in the industry, I think just be yourself. And I think I'm lucky enough to be in a job where I'm exactly who I am. I do not code switch. I'm in a position right now where I'm not code switching for nobody. If I code switch, I'm not in that job. Simple. Obviously, be professional and perform. You have to act a certain way because you're dealing with strangers. But I'm exactly who I am, and you're gonna take that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know my worth. I know how confident I am in my work and what I'm able to do. What's the problem? I'm an adult. You know what I'm saying? I hope that is helpful in terms of just really be who you are. Go out, like, and I don't just mean a conference or networking event, but go to an art show. Go to, and the Guggenheim and the MoMA, they have free nights, like Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Just go alone and just talk to a stranger. Go to the movies by yourself. Go, like, just walk around and talk to people. Like, I'll say this as an example. I'm never gonna forget, I was in high school and I was just young and dumb and crying on the public train. I used to go to high school in the city, but I was like crying, trying to do my geometry homework, just like super sad. And then this lady next to me was like, "What's wrong? Like, I see, like, what's going on?" And I just spoke to this complete stranger who then offered me on the spot a scholarship to the Harlem of the Arts. Because, like, and it sounds crazy, but it's like, I was going to high school in Chelsea, and I lived in the Bronx, and I would go, that was at least an hour, 30-minute train ride every morning and every evening. And I would literally have an hour, and the lady next to me was from Harlem. So we still kind of had a long ride. And I was talking about my portfolio and what I was doing, but I'm sad, da da da. And she was like, "When you ever need anything at Harlem of the Arts, I got you." Her name was like Cherie, something like that. All because I was a crying high school student on the train, willing and open to talk to a stranger. Now, be safe. Don't, be safe. We are in New York City, so please be careful. But all to say, when it comes to social industry, I think just be who you are, do the things you want to do. Don't be, I think also to the last thing I'll say, volunteer. When I volunteered at Afropunk, Afro Latino Festival, at every art festival, I volunteered at Anime NYC, Comic-Con. I volunteered on so many places because I wanted to. And I've literally made best friends for life. Like my friend, I met a friend at the New York Latino Film Festival at HBO. And I volunteered with this young girl. I met her because people volunteer together. And right now, she created her own app and invited me to one of the exclusive parties and asked me if I want to be a designer. And like, again, volunteer, meet new people, talk to people, be who you are, but also like, don't force yourself. Like, if there's a day you wake up and there's a conference and you don't feel your best today, that's your body telling you to slow down. I've been there before where I would force myself to be in an event and I was just a grouchy grump. And it's like, get out. You need to listen to yourself too. So if you need a day to yourself, like put that in between. Does that make sense? Like, you know what I mean? So yeah.
Great, thank you so much. Made total sense. Yeah, first your well-being of the mind, and then you're gonna like find your way in your career as well.
Mm-hmm.
That was very good advice. Thank you so much. I'm like seeing Caitlin said something on the ask something. And her question is about portfolios, and from all the portfolios that you have rejected, what is the most prevalent aspect that has gotten them rejected? For example, lack of foundation, skills, lack of organization. What was that?
It's honestly because their work is bad. Meaning the dynamics of the actual like motion animation is flat. Like I love, like animation is a dance, it's a rhythm. So if your ability to hone on the skill of just like beautiful, like stretching, like really manipulating those principles of animation, like if you're able to, that skill, if you're just doing this or like blinking, I'm not gonna hire you. Sorry. Like it's great to like start out, and that's a great way to like, add some gifts, keep practicing, seeing what you like about that gift. But in terms of like hiring you for like a big job, I want to see flow, animation, rhythm. You know what I'm saying? That's one example. Secondly, is style, right? So like, you don't have to be some pure realism, crazy, Da Vinci, no. Like if it's a stick figure, it'll be, how does the figure look like? How did you manipulate that? How do you have fun? What kind of characters you created? What kind of world you created? And I think secondly, and then lastly is story. When it comes to like a GIF, Obviously, it's understanding the medium. GIFs are very short. On the Giphy platform, we don't accept anything under 30 seconds. So what kind of story is clear, simple, digestible, cohesive that you can create under a specific medium of 30 seconds? Are you going to add sound or not? Why not? So understanding your medium, or if you rather like do, for example, an episode for and a short animation on Netflix for children, understanding your audience, right? What kind of characters would fit best for an audience between 9 to 15 years old? The fact that you're able to understand your art and who's going to be looking at it speaks volumes. Does make sense. I see a job more about my job, like how's it tech and how did I settle on my job? So I'll say tech, well, because I work at a tech company. I think that's basically it. In terms of, I think one thing I've learned recently, I'm going to be very transparent. You know, it's all good and fun games, but honestly, I didn't realize this until recently. You need actual skills. Like you can't come into this kind of role, this very office, you know, admin communicative role without understanding how to communicate. Communication is not one way. It's being able to communicate to different kinds of people of all kinds of backgrounds and be able to facilitate conversations and provide answers and solutions. And then on top of that, communicating not just verbally, but also even just physically written through just tech and just visually. That's kind of what I've realized in my role, that you have to be a really good writer. Like I wrote a brief, and the amount of work that it took to make basically a 10-page brief, like a lot of writing in my job. And I complain about college all the time and writing these freaking 30-page papers. I'm like, who is ever gonna write a 40-page paper in my life? The skills, honestly, I hate to admit this, the skills I gained from being at a liberal arts sociology 4-year college and writing literal like 40-page papers on like the theory of life, being able to communicate the most difficult and challenging theoretical ideas and applying that skill set to writing very technical, you know, briefs that, you know, budget, very specific, that skill helped me tremendously. And I hate to admit that, like, I am a phenomenal writer because of me 4 years of just like being miserable. And then now I'm in the real world and I have to write certain things for my job to communicate certain things. If I didn't have that skill set, I would fail at my job. And I didn't know that until like a few months ago. So I think you have to trust the process. You are doing something today for tomorrow, and you have no idea it's happening until it clicks. And it's going to keep happening in your life, whether you like it or not. Because I've had all kinds of, I've been working since I was 14. And I've worked at hospitals, restaurants, and it wasn't until after college I started working at a more office-like place. And all of those little skills here and there really got me here today. And it's hard to believe because I remember just complaining all the time, like, oh, I don't want to be here. This is not what I want to do. And it's, oh, no, it's exactly where you need to be. And if you did that yesterday, you wouldn't be able to do this today the way you do it the best you can. If that makes sense. And settle on my job. I mean, the pay is nice. I'm not gonna hold you. You know what I'm saying? It's exactly what I want to be doing right now in this moment in my life. And what I realized too, like a few years ago, who you work with is frankly more important than your day-to-day. I realized like the people you're working with, like if you're at a company and you hate your employees, you don't feel like you're growing, you don't feel any kind of juice, but you love your drawing and what are you doing, you're gonna hate your job. You're not growing. Like I realized that my coworkers, my managers, if they don't want me to succeed, that is not a place for you to stay. If you need to look, if you need to check, you need to check. You do what you got to do. But in terms of a career over a job, who you work with will determine where you're able to go. So if you're in a job and you have the option to leave and you do not like the environment, leave. At least that's what I would say. I had a job a few years ago. I did not like my day-to-day at all. It was sales and I wasn't the biggest fan of it, but I loved my coworkers. I loved my manager. I loved the environment. I was willing to be there for a few years because I just really enjoyed, like I enjoyed waking up and going to work because of the people I was around. So, and again, my current job, the people are phenomenal. Like I'm always surprised about what they're doing every other day. And I feel, again, I'm comfortable with who I am at that workspace. So yeah. Oh, I'm out of breath.
Been sharing so much wisdom, energy, passion with us. So thank you. I mean, we appreciate it, even if it's gotten you to a place where you need a sip of water. Giselle asked a question. Is your job like a regular job where you only have 2 days off? So, like, you know, Monday through Friday, 5 days a week, or do you have more free time?
Yeah, I think yes. But again, my job is also like, it's literally just gifts. Like it's a very strange place. So it's very much 10. I wake up at 10, typically done work at 6. But because I'm a tech company, I work 4 days a week. So I actually work Monday through Thursday. I work purely remotely. Going to the office, we just opened up literally like a week ago for the first time since COVID. Completely optional for the rest of the year. Yeah, and I think obviously with even if you're a freelancer, like time management. So if I want to take a week off, or if I want a mental health day, I'm lucky enough to be in an environment that is so understanding. Like there've been times where like I can't today, my anxiety is not the best right now. My manager would be like, okay, cool, take a day off. I'll check in with you tomorrow and see how we're feeling. So again, your environment, who you work with, can determine how you want to nourish.
We have a question from a high school student, 16-year-old Kay, saying, what are some things I can do now that can lead me to becoming an animator?
I would say, first of all, draw. Like you need to, like, art, like your fingers should be your pen, your paintbrush, your Apple pen, like just keep working. And also like be inspired. Like don't just be in your, I mean, again, you're 16. I don't know how your home is, but I was lucky enough for being in the city. I was out all the time. I would go after high school, I would go to so you know, like there's like the men, the MoMA and stuff. And if you're a high school student in New York City, everything is completely for free. There's also the art district in Chelsea. It's like between like 14 and almost like sometimes 25th Street, some galleries until 30th Street, between 9th and 10th Avenue. And they're just full of galleries, all completely free. You can just walk in. They're open typically from Wednesday to Saturday from 10 to 6. And if you just go into those spaces and just be inspired, watch a movie, go like, and also, and again, it's been a while, but I remember at the Met or Guggenheim, they have specifically high school student programs at night where you'll come together with people from all over the city who are in high school specifically and love art. I think connecting with those people is a great, try to join a program in these museums. They're free. I'm not sure if your school, high school offers specific art classes or art supplies. If not, create a club. Like I just say, like really get invested in life, not just art, but life. Be inspired, talk to people. I think if you want to go to, I say like the top like animating schools that come to mind is Cal Arts, which is in California, SCAD, which is in Georgia, Savannah, Georgia, and then SVA, which is here. If you know, if you're like 16, which is what, sophomore, junior year of high school, try your best to get a scholarship. Meaning start investing now. I was offered for something at the cinema school at USC. I didn't take it because it was too far, whatever. But start thinking about scholarships. If you're able to move forward, because these schools are very expensive, very expensive. I privileged enough to say I went to undergrad complete for free. I didn't pay a dime. I'm debt free. I try to be debt free because you shouldn't be giving money to school. That's all the conversation. And if you don't get, you still want to do it and you get accepted, then that's okay. But also look at, like, I would recommend liberal arts schools. Lots of famous artists and animators come from liberal arts schools. And I think of like Wesleyan, Amherst, Williams College, Potomac in California, like those kind of schools are liberal arts, meaning, for example, the reason why I chose Wesleyan is because there was no like curriculum I had to do. I didn't have to take calc. I could take whatever I wanted and whatever my major was. There was no like, you have to take this, and that, and third. So knowing what you want to do and not to take calc ever again, which I ended up doing, which is very regrettably. So those type of things, look at that. At high school, I just, wrap it up. Go to every event possible if you can. I don't know, and you would be allowed depending on your situation. If not, it's okay. With the pandemic now, there's so many virtual programs. For example, MICE is the annual comic, like MICE in Boston. They specifically host virtual events for people interested in making comic books and graphic novels, and it's completely virtual. One of my top favorites, Black Women Animate. If you're a Black woman in animation, just a person who's in animation, they have a virtual conference every year because of the pandemic. And again, pandemic has changed things, but before the pandemic, they had a specific boot camp for Black women who want to be in animation in Texas. So there's so many programs. There's Rise Up Animation, there's Diverse Tunes. There's so many specific programs in light of the pandemic that's really moving forward marginalized communities in animation, because we need it. We need it. You don't understand the struggle of my job to make it diverse as possible. And all because people do not make their portfolio accessible. It's literally the most painstaking thing of my job. Hope that answered the question. There's also, I want to recommend too, last one, still life art, for example. A lot of like not just reaching out to like people at DreamWorks, but reaching out to recent graduates or current students at these art programs. So at Parsons, NYU, like if there's a student on LinkedIn or Instagram that creates like a specific kind of group, don't be afraid to hit up college students. College students 10 out of 10 have more time to talk to you than like someone working at DreamWorks. Hope that helps.
Yes, everything has been so helpful. Did you want to say something?
I just wanted to like read the last question that Lizette asked, and I think it should be gonna be the last question because we are at the time 2:24. So Lizette asking, what's one good tech job you recommend for people who are in trade schools?
What kind of trade school then? Because it would depend on trade, right? If you are in IT, literally any job would take you in tech. From the Googles to the startups, IT, computer science, trade schools, like that's different. And even if it's like hardware, like if you do specifically electrical engineering or electrical trade schools, literally any company is going to need you. Like trade schools, they're always going to be a necessity. But if it's like, this is a bad example, this is what I think of is like plumbing or like some sort of like physical labor. Again, any company is going to need you because we need plumbing, we need electric. But I will say this, when it comes to good tech jobs, you never know. You never know. As long as you know how to sell yourself and know your purpose, your intention. Like I know, like for example, I'm never going to forget, so my first job out of college was Snapchat. And half of the people in my cohort that entered that year didn't go to college. There was this one man who he was like in his 50s, was working, I think he did like more trade jobs. He really loved building cameras for fun. Like that's all he ever did. And then he got a job at Amazon. And like for 15 years worked at Amazon working camera sales. And then got a job at Snapchat, all because he just has a thing for cameras. Like, or I had a friend who, I don't know if it's still happening, but if you're into like coding, for example, if you know how to hack their product, they're gonna want to hire you immediately. I probably shouldn't say this out loud. They're gonna want to hire you immediately, because how do you know how to break our stuff? We need you inside so we can understand how you do this, so we don't have someone else do this again. So like having some crazy skill set, or for me, tech, it's about the people, it's about the environment. I work with some across the jobs, some very strange people. Like they're so nerdy, and like one of my managers at Snapchat loves Star Wars, like just very strange. There was this one company I was looking at in terms of choosing a job called Writers Fiction, and it was specifically like a Wattpad, but more organized. Like if imagine working at a Wattpad or like a Webtoon, like these people are strange, but they enjoy what they do. And I think in tech, one thing I've been told, and I'm guilty of, majority of people applying for tech jobs specifically is because they want to work at the name. They do not care about the actual job. They just want to tell other people they work at such and such company. They can sniff that a mile away. Let's be true. I get it. You want money. There's many ways to make money. I think social media has our minds kind of hypnotized. There's many ways to make money. HR recruiters, they are literally trained in how to sniff the BS, to be transparent, off of your resumes. So I'm in a position where I'm lucky enough and privileged to be in a position where I apply for jobs because I want to apply for this job. I applied for partnerships manager through LinkedIn. It looked really fun. And I said, let me try it out. I got my interviews, and and who is my current manager, Danny and Kat, shout out to them. I had a blast with them. Like, I love the way they I think one thing I learned from my friends in college, when you're getting interviewed for a job or like an internship, you're also interviewing them. So you will know very quickly when you meet this person across the screen, most likely, like this, I don't know. Again, evaluate situation. If first off you get the offer, evaluate, okay, do I need this job? Do I have other options? Will this job lead me somewhere else? Can I deal with this for 3 months of internship? Then go forward, obviously, like evaluate your environment. But if you can skip out on that job and you didn't like this experience, don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. And I'll end it here because we're out of time. I was looking at a job once. I also have a background in design. I actually went to the High School of Fashion Industries in Chelsea, and I was an art student. And I have a certificate in graphic design and illustration. And then I went to Wesleyan for undergrad. And long story short, I was looking at a design job, and I was like, and the person who was interviewing me, she was just so rude. And I'm just like, but it was more so like, I'm rude because it's funny. Ha, ha, ha. That's my personality trait. I'm super blunt. And it's like, no, you're just mean. You're not honest. You're just mean. You can tell me the truth and respect me. And I know I may be young and I have a lot to learn, but I like who I am. I want to make that very clear because a lot of people are young here. No one should disrespect you. No one should feel you small. You may be young, and yes, you have a lot to learn from other people, but don't tolerate disrespect from anyone. That's not right. No one, trust me, I've been spat at before. I've been called the N-word before in certain workspaces. And I'm thinking in my head, because I'm younger, I'm like, oh, it's like, is that what I'm supposed to experience? Because I don't know anything yet. Like, I don't know this. They're right. No, they're not right. You're still a human being. You don't deserve any of that. And it may be hard, and I know you need to check, but it's never worth it. I'll make that very clear to all of you guys. You guys are valuable, and you are a gift. Make that very clear. Okay. Yeah.
Catherine, what an incredible deep dive into your experiences, your wisdom, your advice, and just all around incredible energy that you're bringing forth to all of our attendees here today. Thank you for sharing all that you have with us. It's invaluable.
Thank you. Aww.
Thank you so much, Catherine and Kristen and whomever brought this event together. I just wanted to thank you so much. I learned a lot.
Oh. Yeah, thank you. Thank you guys for sharing this opportunity. Again, I love what TAP is all about. I love what you guys do. I love everything about TAP. Like, thank you for existing. How about that part? So
Thank you so much.
We're so fortunate to get to work together with you all at Giphy and Giphy Arts and keep building a larger, more diverse and inclusive community.
mhm. Yeah.
And I know we're a little bit over time, so but I do want to invite everyone here to like go through our closing, which I mean, there's been so much shared, and I know I'm feeling so inspired. So I want everyone to like dig deep and find that passion that Catherine has awoken in me and hopefully in all of you. And in your own space, wherever you are, create a movement. Remember, it's okay if it's just a blank, but if you want to really finesse it, you know, go into that dance of animation, and in your space, wherever you are, just like create a little movement that captures how you're feeling in appreciation of the time that we took out of today to be with our special guests. So mine is just going to be. I hope in all of your homes, wherever you're zooming from, you're enjoying, embodying a quick gift that sums up how you're feeling in this moment.
That was great. I think mine is like, it was very refreshing, especially about the schools.
I'm gonna head out. Thank you guys.
Thank
Woo!
you so much. Thank you so much for staying till the end.
And
Thank you.
thank you all for coming to today's Industry Access event. Remember to stay connected with TAP by following our social media accounts that are posted in the chat right now. We hope you have a wonderful weekend, everyone.
Have a
Catherine,
wonderful weekend, guys.
goodbye.
Next week.
See you
Goodbye.
next week.